The WNR is live.
My name is James Rowlands, and in 2015 I started the WNR podcast with my friend
Dan White. And every month we bring you the latest collections, newest content, 205 Live and the crown jewel of the WNR NXT update.
Also each month the latest pay-per-views, and we are live not only for the Big Four but every takeover as well.
Plus, in 2019, we go back 20 years and witness the Attitude rise and the WCW's demise.
Until we've watched everything, we are with you, and we are the WNR. My name is... Yes, hello, I am James Rowlands, and as always I'm joined by...
Dan White.
And today it's the WNR202, and it's the WWE Royal Rumble 2019. Now Dan, are you excited for the event?
I am very excited. I love the Royal Rumble. It's my favourite WWE paper. It's a unique one as well, and I just hope it lives up to the hype.
Yes, but before we do anything, let's start with the alternate intro. I don't care how he yelled and then snatched up a lunoscope, thrown it into the fireplace. I've had enough. I've seen enough. I want out. I want it to end. I don't care anymore.
And that is James after he loses yet another prediction to me.
No, Dan. No, I've not finished yet. You do care, said Dumbledore. He had not flinched or made a single move to stop Harry demolishing his office. His expression was calm, almost detached. You care so much you feel as though you bleed to death with the pain of it. That's J.K. Rowling, Harry Potter, and the Order of the Phoenix.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, so we got a load of stuff planned for you today. We're going to run through the card. We've got an episode of 205 Live, loads of games. We're going to mass debate as well. But let's start with some new content, Dan.
Yes, we've got some new WWE collections. We have the Rumble. And which one have you watched the most, James?
Well, I would say, we talked about this as well, it would be the Rumble 1999 would be the one that I've seen the most because it was my first Rumble. But there's a lot of other ones that I've seen a lot. 1992 would be a particular favourite of mine. What about you, Dan?
Well, of course, it's got to be probably one of the greatest Royal Rumbles, and that's 2001. I just like, it's got a bit of everything thrown into it. And you can't forget the legendary 2009 and 2017 Royal Rumbles because, of course, my man won them both.
Yes. And I know you love the Royal Rumble, and we're hoping tonight that can be even better. But we are the WWE Network review, and we have got some new content on the network, starting with some WWF superstars.
Well, if you're a fan of old school WWF and long for a time that WWE shows weren't 2 or 3 hours apiece, then you'll be happy to know that WWE Network will be adding new classic content for January, and this includes WWF Superstars. Formerly known as Superstars of Wrestling, this latest addition to the WWE Network will feature episodes of Superstars from April 1992. The reason for this specific date is due to a range of legal issues regarding the name Superstars of Wrestling. The trademark to that name does not currently belong to WWE, and so the company is unable to upload any footage featuring the Superstars of Wrestling branding. The network has previously released clips relating to the promotion, but have done extensive work to visual and audio references to the name.
And it's amazing that WWE still have to do that, But at the time, Superstars was considered a WA show in the same way Raw is today. These episodes will arrive on Monday the 21st of January. We can expect over 30 episodes to be released. It's unclear whether they'll be all uploaded or they'll be delivered and then in staggered release. Also, more new content, and just in time for the Sundance Film Festival premiere of Fight With My Family, WWE Network will air a new episode of the Chronicle original series, which will focus on Paige. The episode aired immediately after NXT Takeover Phoenix and featured Paige's return to the ring in November 2017, and the heartbreak of a month later after getting injured, and the revelation that she can never wrestle again.
This is the 5th episode of the Chronicle series, having previously tackled Shinsuke Nakamura, Samoa Joe, Dean Ambrose and Becky Lynch. The WWE Network will air another popular series, Day 4, on Sunday after the Royal Rumble, which will give a behind-the-scenes look at WrestleMania 34.
And I absolutely love the WWE 24 series, and I cannot wait to watch and review that. We'll have that on the WWE Network review for February.
What, so they're going to review last year's WrestleMania a year later?
Yeah, they do it every year. Every year they have that behind the scenes of the WrestleMania as build-up towards this WrestleMania. So, pick a winner. I mean, this is going to be huge now. It's so early on in the year. We're going to have our first proper tournament. WWE's holding their Worlds Collide tournament this weekend in Phoenix. The multi-branded tournament will take place throughout this weekend's Royal Rumble Access event. The promotion recently announced the tournament will be streamed on the WWE Network on February 2nd.
WWE also revealed the tournament's opening round will be broadcast through the company's social media channels on February the 2nd.
It says coverage begins at 12 p.m. when the tournament opening rounds will stream on WWE.com, the app, and YouTube and Facebook. A press release reads...
Later that night, the WWE Network will present the full tournament, including the finals.
Yeah, at 8 p.m, the action continues with the World's Class Special and WWE Network featuring a Battle Royal with all 15 competitors and matches from the late rounds, including the tournament final.
And there were some notes from Triple H's pre-takeover media call.
Yeah, he said this a format. The tournament will kick off Saturday morning at 8 a.m, where the superstars will battle sleeplessness and each other for a chance to earn a bye to the second round. The winner of the Battle Royal will move directly to the quarterfinals. Order of elimination will determine the seeding for the other 14 superstars. 7
single elimination matches will take place later throughout the day on Saturday. The winners and the Battle Royal winner will advance to the quarterfinals with single elimination matches running all the way through to the finals.
The winner will receive a shot at any championship on NXT, NXT UK or 205 Live. The winner would have to make the weight for challenge for the Cruiserweight title, however. But looking at the list, I don't think there's many that would be struggling. So there's 5 superstars from each brand. We'll start off with NXT first.
You've got Adam Cole,
Velveteen Dream,
Dominic Jakovic,
Keith Lee,
and Shane Thorne.
So quite a mixed bag there from NXT. NXT UK brings you Mandrews,
Tyler Bate,
Travis Banks,
Jordan Devlin,
and of course Zach Gibson. And then 205 Live as well.
You got Cedric Alexander,
Tony Nese,
Drew Gulak,
TJP,
and Humberto Carrillo.
And if you look at that lineup, very interesting because you've got a few guys who have done well in tournaments before, or like if you look at the NXT UK lot, Zach Gibson, of course, made it through to the final. TJP winner of the first CWC. And what we're going to do here, we are going to have the kind of Mae Young Classic / CWC point system into effect. So we're going to have 3 picks from the 15, 1 from each of the brands, Dan and myself, and then will be a point for each. If you face each other, a point for knocking the other one out, a point for each round they go through, 2 points for the winner as well. So there'll be a lot of bonus points on the line there. So Dan, it's time. Let's pick our 3 top superstars out of the 15. Let's start off with who have you gone for in NXT, Dan?
Velveteen Dream.
Velveteen Dream, and I too have gone Velveteen Dream for NXT. So NXT UK, Dan?
NXT UK, I've gone for Tyler Bate.
Tyler Bate, I thought about going Bate, but I've gone Mandrews in that. I think that Bate's good, but he's a bit tag team wrestler at the moment, and Mandrews could have a breakout weekend, maybe give himself a shot on 205 Live. And speaking of 205 Live, my pick for that, 5 great superstars, I have gone Tony Nese in 205.
Is there any reason why you've gone for Tony Nese aside from the obvious absence?
Well, Mandrews for NXT because I think he could go 205 Live and maybe challenge because they're looking for kind of new talent. Also, Tony Nese and Buddy Murphy, we know they haven't really seen them go face to face yet. And if Nese won himself an opportunity to go against Murphy, you've got that kind of storyline playing out there. And with Velveteen Dream, I just like Velveteen Dream, so that's why I got from NXT.
Fair enough. Yeah, I like Velveteen Dream as well. I've gone for Tyler Bate because I backed his tag team partner in the UK Championship tournament, and Tyler Bate won it, so he's got experience winning tournaments. And for 205 Live, I've gone for Humberto Carrillo.
Wow.
He's a relatively dark horse out of the mix of the 15 there. He's the only one that we don't know too much about. We haven't seen too much of him, and he's a relative newcomer, so I think that'd be a good leg up for him.
Yeah, without a doubt, we've seen him push Buddy Murphy to limit 205 Live, of course, against Johnny Gargano on NXT, so he can fit in any of those divisions as well. So there you have it. I have gone for Nice, Velveteen Dream, and Mandrews, and Dan, you've gone for
Velveteen Dream, Tyler Bate, and Humberto Carrillo.
And we will bring that to you in the WNR Network review for February. Next month, we'll have the tournament for you there. But we're focused on the Royal Rumble, and right now we're going to have a little bit of news.
News!
And Daniel Bryan teases Hideo Itami's arrival on SmackDown Live.
Well, we know Hideo Itami is part of the fatal four-way match tonight for the Cruiserweight title at the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, but ahead of the match, Daivari shared a promo by Daniel Bryan rehashing his history with Itami before they were in WWE.
Bryan said Itami had ruptured his left eardrum during a match and called him dangerous. He added that the former NXT star is going to get what's coming to him if he ever appears on SmackDown Live.
Yeah, WWE fans are likely already planning for what would be a dream match on the blue brand. And like we said, Hideo Itami's been around for a long time. Kenta, came up with the GTS. People like Nigel McGuinness, people like Daniel Bryan, AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, Christopher Daniels, all these in the independents. He, like we said, was going to make it huge when he first came over, but injuries dealt him, badly. Tonight, can he make a huge statement and win the Cruiserweight Championship? But another team we haven't seen them and don't think they're going to be here, is the Revival. And Edge, former obviously multiple-time tag team champion, has commented on the Revival's WWE status.
Well, it was reported Saturday that former NXT Tag Team Champions, The Revival, had requested their release from WWE in part because of how little time and respect the tag team division is given.
Yeah, and during his podcast with co-host Christian, Ed said he understood why Revival might be upset with their roles on Raw.
I know me personally, I think they're phenomenal. I think if they're given a chance, quite possibly them and the Usos neck and neck as to who the top team are. At least in my perspective, is in the industry. And man, if it's true, I get it in a way. It has got to be frustrating. Like we talked about, a 6-minute match. What kind of story can you tell in a 6-minute match? It's hard.
Edge went on to praise Dash Wilder and Scott Dawson for taking the bull by the horns and potentially requesting their release since it showed they weren't content to maintain the status quo. Is it a good idea, though, for Revival to making such a noise at the moment?
Well, they can either buckle under and just make do with what they're given, or they can go out to Vince McMahon and say, look, we're not happy with our current standings. We want either more or we want to be released. And you know that AEW is going to welcome them with open arms.
Yeah, I mean, without a doubt, and this is the thing, is that they can go by Dash Wilder and Scott Dawson and get over there as well. But we move on to injuries, and wrestling is a risky business. After all, superstars can get injured at any moment. And a Akam of Authors of Pain has suffered an injury that put him on the shelf for a long time.
Well, sources have revealed that Akam suffered a knee injury, and it also revealed how long it will be until Akam can make his in-ring return. And here's what he said.
Well, he underwent knee surgery this past week and will be out of action for 2 months, which is why AOP had disappeared and Revival ended up in their place on Raw house shows.
So it seems Rezar will either be taking some time off or compete in 6-man tag team matches for the next couple of months until Akam returns. Hopefully, Authors of Pain is utilised better once Akam comes back, as Authors of Pain is still one of Raw's top tag teams.
Yeah, and Drake Maverick was with Rezar in a single match on Main Event, so it'll be interesting to see what they do. Well, ever since his take position by the curtain for the company, Triple H only appeared a handful of times in the ring. His last outing, which saw Shawn Michaels return to overcome the Brothers' destruction at Crown Jewel, left the game in a tough spot.
Well, Triple H tore his pectoral muscle and soon underwent surgery to repair the same. During a recent media call, the 14-time world champion gave an update on his recovery. The game claimed that he had been cleared to train by his medical staff and went on to provide further details. And this is what he said.
I just got cleared to actually start training. Anyone that's had a serious injury knows the difference between rehabbing a couple hours a day and the actual training. The difference is trying to get better versus actually bettering yourself.
So I just got clearance to start training, and I'm excited about that. As I sit here right now, extremely sore from the training. It was 1 week ago that I got the clearance, so the training has already been stepped up, but I'm feeling good.
And another thing in a WWE announcement, John Cena suffered an ankle injury, has left him questionable, and now it's been confirmed before we went live that John Cena will not be out of this Raw Rumble. Now, Dan, I texted you when the thing came through with Cena's injury, and you straight away said to me, no, this is what they had planned anyway, because it was originally going to be Lars Sullivan injuring John Cena on Raw to write him out of it, and obviously because he wasn't there, they're saying that he exacerbated an ailment during a gym workout Monday. So Cena is not the Rumble. Is it a miss for Cena not to be there, Dan?
Well, I don't know, because, there are wrestlers that are going to overshadow him. We've seen Cena recently. He's been putting over talent that, he's been used as an enhancement talent, as a pusher, basically, with Finn Balor most recently. So, I think too missed.
No, and it's weird that he's departing. And speaking of departures, well, Raw Women's Champion Ronda Rousey may be nearing the end of her current run with WWE.
According to sources, Rousey is expected to have her last match with the company at WrestleMania 35 in April.
Yeah, however, TMZ reported Rousey is super happy with her current role, and the possible departure will be temporary, as Rousey and her husband Travis Brown look to have a baby. A WWE spokesman told TMZ Ronda Rousey is under contract with WWE until 2021, but if she wants to start a family is a private matter.
Well, Ronda Rousey debuted for WWE at last year's Royal Rumble, and she had her first match at WrestleMania 34 in a winning effort over Triple H and Stephanie McMahon alongside Kurt Angle.
Well, Rousey's departure is considered imminent. Everyone in the company is working with the mindset that she is finishing up. WWE could potentially have her to get to stay until pay-per-view shortly after WrestleMania, or for a contract so large that she agrees to re-sign.
It's also noted it's possible Rousey could work a part-time schedule similar to that of John Cena or The Undertaker. And while Rousey has only worked house shows sporadically during her WWE tenure, she has appeared regularly on Raw and pay-per-views, making her a full-time wrestler for all intents and purposes.
Yeah, and I mean, it would be a shame if we were to lose Ronda Rousey. She has said that she's, getting tired of the schedule, which is understandable. Is losing Ronda impact than WWE can afford to have right now?
Well, when she first came in and for the first 6 months, she was a huge draw, but now I think it's dwindling down a bit. So, take her away for a little while, have her off screen, and when she returns, she'll probably get a bigger pop.
Yeah, but the problem is with WWE is that, with Fox Sports, with Fox having a SmackDown, they want to kind of Rousey as a kind of face for it. Will she still be there? If she's taking time out for the family, she'd obviously still contracted with WWE. We got an update on Sanjay Dutt and Abyss. The belief is that each will end up working on the main roster as producers. That is a story, and I heard that from a WWE source. Many thought they'd go to NXT, but it looks like they're going to WWE now. It looks like WWE is also looking to add another couple of producers to kind of bulk up the list and have them on NXT UK. But an update on Ronda Rousey as well is the fact that WWE released a statement saying that Ronda Rousey was contracted till 2021, and then Ronda Rousey came out and says it's my uterus, my vagina, my life, and I can do what I want, and I'm not going to touch that with a barge pole. So, if Rousey wants to do that, that's fine. We've already spoken about her already, but that's just kind of one of the latest updates.
So she's basically putting herself in the same bracket as Maria fucking Kanellis then.
Yeah, and Karma. And do you want to talk about Jack Swagger? Jake Hager. Yeah, he defeated J.W. Kaiser by submission in the first round of Saturday night. Hager looked impressive in his Bellator MMA debut, showing a wide array of skills and challenges. Universal Vote home amateur wrestling background. He was played out by R-Truth. And, of course, we saw a picture early on Twitter, didn't we, with a lot of superstars celebrating, watching Jack Swagger win. People like The Miz, and I think
Heath Slater. A couple of members of Ascension. Mm-hmm. Bray Wyatt.
Well, Aiden English is to work on 205 Live commentary team.
He hasn't wrestled on television since losing to Rusev on October 23rd edition of SmackDown Live. Fans are about to see more of the artiste on WWE programming, though.
WWE announced Tuesday that English will work alongside Vic Joseph and Nigel McGuinness as a commentator on 205 Live through WrestleMania season.
Well, Raw play-by-play commentator Michael Cole, who is also WWE Senior Director of On-Air Talent, discussed the move.
We wanted to do something special for WrestleMania season, and Royal Rumble week kicks off the road to WrestleMania, he said. We've been working with Aiden at the WWE Performance Center to see if he has the chops, and it turns out he's pretty good. So let's start with, Dan, what are your thoughts on Aiden English and the commentary team?
I hope we get some singing.
Yeah, I think that would be cool,
Do you think, like, he's been off time, so he's had chance to turn back to a face?
Well, exactly, and I think, but then again, I mean, remember when Austin Aries was doing commentary for a little bit on 205 Live, so maybe it's kind of the same thing there, as a kind of, the cocky guy, and at least he's given himself something to do, and he is quite an entertaining fella, and like you said, the fans are going to get behind him with that anyway. So let's move on to shout-outs, and of course we have them all. I'd just like to say to everybody, first and foremost, thank you for your support this weekend, our biggest weekend of all time. Of course, we had the WNR200 on Friday night. Last night was NXT Takeover in Phoenix, and what an absolutely cracking show that was. And tonight we're hoping that Royal Rumble truly delivers. But we've got a lot of shout-outs, and first up, Wnrlive says he's going to give us a prediction. It's a sure bet that Seth Rollins is going to win. The rumours of him getting the Universal Championship at WrestleMania have been rampant for months now, and whether it's against Lesnar or Balor, there's storyline richness either way. Do you agree with that, Dan?
Well, at least Seth Rollins, if he does win, he is earning his title shot as opposed to just getting like 16 title shots at pay-per-views on the bounce. So, yeah, I'm all for it. I like them being earned and not just being given.
Next shout-out.
The next shout-out is Jimmy Knight, and for the billionth time, Becky and Sasha will not be in the Rumble match because they are in title matches.
Well, have we ever seen anybody in title matches at Rumble before being in a Royal Rumble event?
Yes, multiple times.
Yes, I mean, it's ever since, 2011 maybe, ever since like the longest Royal Rumble, at that point, 40 men, you had to kind of do that because the star power's kind of dwindling. And yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if, we saw Finn Balor or even, But it was, no, I was about to say in the women's match as well. To see Sasha Banks, Ronda Rousey. I don't want to give all my predictions away, Len. You know what I mean? Like Oscar, anything like that. But we have seen it. I wouldn't be surprised to see it here tonight. Cole Guy says Daniel Bryan, AJ Styles, the two former faces of Ring of Honor, Impact Wrestling, getting the attention of Vince McMahon. And this is something we talked about with talent. Is the WWE might say when they're outside the company that they're nothing, but they've built them up. And like you said, these two guys are heads of former companies. I mean, that's a good thing, isn't it?
That is indeed, yes. And, AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan are two of the hottest wrestlers in the world. And, they can always put on a brilliant match. We've seen them have great matches against Brock Lesnar, and getting a great match out of Brock Lesnar is no easy feat.
And what I like about it as well is that people said, oh no, you have to go to WWE to work, and you think Daniel Bryan was like 12, 15 years in the independent scene before, or 10 years before he made his move. AJ Styles 10, 15 years before he made his move. People said, no, what you do, you never make it, and they still came over and made it stop. And it's like Macho Man Randy Savage used to say, is that the cream always rises to the top no matter what. All these people that moan they never got an opportunity, you seem to find that these, people either like CM Punk or Daniel Bryan, AJ Styles, guys you said weren't going to be sure, always are on top.
Yes. FC said, can WWE quit trying to book Charlotte to steal the spotlight? The crowd paid to see Becky and Oscar, not Woman Waynes.
Well, Roman
Waynes.
So they think Charlotte is the female alternative to Roman Reigns. To be fair, Charlotte is stealing the spotlight. The crowd did pay the way for Becky, and they do like Oscar. But there's a lot of talent, again, not being used. And is that thanks to kind of the four horsewomen? People like Naomi, or people like, Alexa Bliss. I know she's had a lot of attention, recently, a lot of reigns. But again, as someone who maybe deserves a little bit more limelight, someone like Carmella, they gave up on her with a kind of heel turn. And now she's kind of, just a kind of baby face. But they'll always go with Charlotte because they know there's a name to depend on. And if she's already halfway there with, 7 championships, they're going to go all the way with that, I feel, What do you reckon about Charlotte? Because I went through a stage of really disliking her, and then I've just kind of got used to it because it's always going to happen now. Yeah, well,
I've kind of accepted Charlotte. I think she should have, not had to rely on the Flair name because I think she's dropped that now, isn't it? She's Charlotte Flair, but
WWE always drop names though.
Yeah,
they only like one name basically at the moment.
But I think they always have someone stealing the spotlight. If we go back to last year's Royal Rumble, you had Oscar winning the first ever Women's Rumble, but who got the highest amount of fucking recognition for it? Rousey coming out after the match had finished.
Yeah, and this is the worry for this year's Rumble. is that if we already know what the main event for WrestleMania is going to be, if it is going to be a triple threat match, then, you know, it's kind of not going to be a surprise here tonight, and they really need to kind of turn it up and, you know, kind of either shock us tonight or make us believe that things are going to be different, you know? Also about Sasha's one of the best. Mike Blue says Sasha's one of the best talents on the roster. Her and Ronda will have an excellent match this Sunday at Royal Rumble. You can bank, no doubt, that if you're a fan, you know, of Ronda Rousey, I think she has delivered in ring very well, you know, and I think it should be a great match. Sasha is one of the best, but again, is she not getting used because it's more focused on Charlotte and Becky Lynch now? I mean, when it first started the Women's Revolution, she was involved in the kind of first ever type matches, and now it's kind of gone to other people. You know, I think Banks deserves to be up there. Do you think Banks deserves to be in a position? She's got a great position now, but do you think she needs to be used more?
I think she does, yes, but you know, with a huge lot of women's talent that you've got in WWE, people are going to be pushed to the back. I know, you know, arguably you could say, well, she could have been pushed instead of Carmella. She could have been pushed instead of Naomi, but it's, you know, it's giving everyone a chance.
Yeah. No, I think without a doubt, you know, and this is the thing, there's so much talent there, not everybody can be an opportunity at the moment.
Jeffrey Michael says he's got a few little predictions. You know, 1, the Demon actually wins. 2, Braun interferes. 3, Paul Heyman betrays Rock. Or 4, Brock squashes Finn.
So out of the 4 options that he's given us to what will happen, what are you thinking about that match?
I am thinking special option 5, that Finn actually gives Brock a very good match as Finn Balor and not the Demon.
Yeah.
And Brock still goes over.
Yeah,
that is probably the banker's bet.
Because you don't want the Demon coming out and being sacrificed to Lesnar when you know he's not going to win, unless he does go over. But honestly, it would be one of the biggest shocks of all time for them to do it. Braun interferes is a possibility, but then that would mean that Braun Strowman would have maybe to go on to win the Royal Rumble and then face Lesnar at the WrestleMania. He's not even scheduled to compete here tonight, so why would he be in the Royal Rumble as well?
If Braun interferes, surely...
Don't call me Shirley.
That would be to cost Brock Lesnar, though.
Yeah, and this is the thing. If that's the case,
Strowman wouldn't need to go on to win the Rumble.
Yeah, but if he's if he comes out and interferes and then he loses it, then like I said, it's Strowman versus Lesnar, but then Balor's your champ, and that's not going to happen, is it? Either way, so that's what I'm trying to look at. Even if afterwards, with Strowman getting involved. Number 3, Paul Heyman betrays Brock. It's something that says people have been saying for a long time. It's not going to happen, I don't think, anymore. And Brock squashes Finn. It could be over in 5 minutes. But then the internet wouldn't be happy about that, would they?
No.
So I think that would be the problem.
Oh, Randy Morrison, and I like your first name, by the way. It's a first name of legends. This Sunday at the Royal Rumble, Shane and Miz will become the new SmackDown Tag Team Champs. But I continue to say that at WrestleMania 35 should have been Bryan versus Miz for the WWE title in reversed roles.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I would have loved to see the Miz versus Daniel Bryan for the championship as Mrs. Hill, Bryan as face in that way, because the way they have that SummerSlam kind of history with a feud. I thought that's what they're building towards, but obviously they've gone different directions. Can the Miz get a good match at Shane McMahon at WrestleMania if he's teaming up with him? I think he can. I think it could be entertaining enough. It's not going to be kind of 5-star quality, but I think there'll be enough laughs and gimmicks for the team to kind of work together. But I would love to see Bryan Miz. But what is Bryan going to do at WrestleMania? What is AJ Styles going to do at WrestleMania? These are the questions that we've got to ask ourselves now, haven't we?
Well, we'll either see at the end of the Royal Rumble, depending on who the winner of the Men's Rumble will go for, and then I presume we'll see what happens at Elimination Chamber and go on from there. So,
I mean, we've still got Fastlane and Chamber before WrestleMania, so there's still going to be, like you said, a lot of answers. That's the only kind of thing that takes away from the Rumble a little bit is, the winner of it gets an opportunity, and then obviously you need someone else to have an opportunity as well, and usually that is a Chamber match. But like we said, Brian Bowden says, great to see Aiden English have that Austin Aries role like we had. That they had when he's in WWE. Well, to 205 Live, Aiden English. Yeah, we mentioned that. It's good that Aiden English is actually getting some airtime at this moment,
Yes, indeed. And, maybe he might be working on a slim fast plan to join the 205 Live roster. We haven't really had chance to kind of appreciate what Aiden English can do in the ring because, for so long he was either by Rusev's side or he had a couple of matches against Rusev, which was slightly underwhelming.
Yeah. Tag team wrestler, but can he make it singles? And this is the thing that if he's working backstage or working on commentary, then maybe that's the thing that he can do.
Yes, Connor Edwards says 205 Live needs two things. More guys with individual unique characters, and to stop getting disrespected on every single pay-per-view by be thrown on the pre-show.
Yeah, and you can't really argue with that, can you? You know?
No.
You talk about more guys with individual unique characters. They're starting to do that a little bit on 205 Live. But again, like you've asked about Buddy Murphy and Tony Nese, what's it really all about? You know, what's driving them? Mustafa Ali and Alexander kind of the same in that way. You know, kind of want to be the heart and soul of the place. Gulak, Gallagher, you need to work a little bit. And to be thrown on a pre-show, but at least they're being used on a show. Because if they weren't, then there'll be the problems with it, you know. There's got to be a way around it. But do the 205 Live deserve their own show? Do they deserve, as in, their own pay-per-view to show what they can bring, you know?
I don't think they've got that much depth. You know, it's going to be one title match and 4 filler matches. And it is quite hard to get, you know, 4 storylines going that's going to impact and be worthy of being on a pay-per-view. So my response to it would probably put them on an NXT pay-per-view.
Yeah, if there was enough space, even
because
a pre-show match.
They will get appreciated a lot more there. And, you know, they've got 5 matches on the card. You can have a good 10, 15-minute match. You get a lot more time to tell a story. I know on the pre-show you'll get a good amount of time as well. But, you know, they don't get appreciated, especially, like, you know, as they roll on SmackDown as well. 90% of the fans are sat on their hands, and it's like, yeah, come on, we're waiting for the show to start.
Yeah, but it's nice to have a few emails about 205 Live. Like we say, we look at everything here on the WNR podcast, whether it be NXT, NXT UK, 205 Live, or all the classic content. But we move on to our episode of 205 Live now, which is episode 133, January 22nd.
The show opens with Drake Maverick's usual combo recap / hype reels, as well as an introduction from temporary commentator Aidan English.
Humberto Carrillo over Grand Metalik by pinfall with a headstand Arabian press moonsault in the first match.
That'd be impressive if you've gone for him in a tournament, wouldn't it? Well, Drew Gulak and Jack Gallagher are backstage as Drake Maverick talks Humberto up. Gulak's so mad he can't get a word out and he storms out, leading a disappointed Gallagher to shake his head sadly and leave.
Well, Tony Nese rolls up and demands a rub match against Noam Dar, to which Drake says he'll consider it. Nese is mad and Maverick explains, but he doesn't care and suggests that if he doesn't get the match, he'll have to find his own opportunity to shut Noam's mouth.
Well, backstage, Akira Brian Kendrick get a promo talking about the title match at the Royal Rumble. Tozawa says he came to WWE for pride and to make a name for himself, and he'll become a 2-time Cruiserweight champ.
Well, Kalisto and Lince Dorado get a promo talking about how they're making history on Raw and 205 Live, and the Cruiserweight Championship will take them to the next level because they're going to freebird the belt if Kalisto wins.
That'd be interesting. Hideo Itami gets an interview where Ariya Daivari puts him over as the hungriest and most dangerous man in the division. The only thing his legendary career is missing is WWE gold. Itami adds his own postscript in Japanese, but the words Cruiserweight title shone right there.
So now it's time for our main event here on 205 Live. Just days before the Royal Rumble, and these 3 men will have an opportunity at your Cruiserweight champion, Buddy Murphy. But until then, can one of these guys make a true statement here tonight? Oh, Akira Tozawa and, of course, Hideo Itami. Dan, who are you going to pick in this one?
I'm going to go for Hideo Itami.
Yeah! So I'm not happy about your pick. I'm happy about the Cruiserweight champion, Buddy Murphy, coming out here. Oh, brilliant. Look at him, ready to defend it at the Royal Rumble. Oh, look at Buddy Murphy, such a champion, such a gentleman, shaking everybody's hands at ringside. And he's joining the commentary team now. Is he going to watch on? And you picked Hideo Itami in this fight. It's going to be difficult. He's been on a roll recently, especially with Davari in his corner. Kind of giving him new incentive here. And Itami on the attack early on. Kalisto and Tozawa. And Murphy said on the commentary, he's going to be the greatest cruiserweight of all time at the moment. Who can argue, you know?
I don't argue with stupidness.
Itami now. He's got Kalisto. Oh, Kalisto with the head scissors.
Drop kick takes down Itami. Oh, and a slap across the chest. Is Kalisto going to try and finish this while Tozawa's out the ring? Lovely couple of springboards and just throws Itami across the ring to the outside. He doesn't see Tozawa climbing up on the turnbuckle in the opposite corner behind him though. Lovely seated drop kick. Kalisto goes out to join Itami and it looks like he's going to go flying. Boom, Tozawa takes out Kalisto.
Well, suicide dive. Itami moved and got Kalisto, hit the full table with impact, and now Tozawa got in Murphy's face, which was a mistake because Itami hit him from behind. Then he gets sent into barricade. It's amazing to think the only man here that's not been Cruiserweight Champion is Hideo Itami at this moment in time. We all know about Kalisto's run with it. And, of course, Tozawa. I mean, Tozawa's feuding with Neville, which is better than, of course, Kalisto with Enzo Amore. But it might be Itami's chance at the Rumble. He definitely looks more focused than I think we've ever seen him.
You know, normally there'd be a stare down with the champion, but Hideo Itami just shrugged it off. He said, look, you know, my focus ain't on you tonight, it's on these two guys.
And he is, you know, kind of a veteran, and said he just wants to add WWE Gold to his resume to be known as a kind of legend. And we've already spoke what he's achieved kind of in the news earlier with Daniel Bryan as well. Goes for the cover, but Zara gets showed off at one. Kalisto trying to get in and a boot to the face. And I think that is the best strategy. Just try and keep this one-on-one at the moment.
Just thinking, you know, all four guys in this 205 Live match are not American, which is quite refreshing to see.
There's been a lot more international feel to it, especially WWE, more recent times as well, which I think is only a good thing, really. You get a wide variation of it. Even if you look at kind of NXT and even WWE to the way, you're getting more different nationalities opposed to, you know, back 10 years when it's actually there, it was all Americans and then
American or Canadian.
Canadian, yeah.
And the odd, like, Asian as a baddie.
Yeah, and this is the thing, you know, and even though Tommy's a baddie, and Nakamura to that fact, it's still not, you know, they're not kind of throwing salt as he did back in the days. And at least they're trying to get back into this, and Tommy is dominating.
And they've actually got Asians as Asians and not a Samoan.
Yeah, exactly, so at least they're playing it right. Murphy just clapping at Tommy's efforts here as he goes back to work on Tozawa.
You can see the crowd aren't really into this still. It is actually bugging me.
Yeah, it's annoying, isn't it? You know, and does it help them being on the kickoff, or is it hurting them again still, seeing as they're not kind of equal with the rest of the roster? Do you know what I mean? Even NXT UK's had their own takeover, 205 Live, haven't they?
Yeah, but they was getting lost in the shuffle when they was on Raw.
Yeah, exactly. So, what's the best way of using them at the moment, do you reckon?
I don't know. I suppose for more exposure, having them on Raw, because, you know, it's partway through the event, so, you know, the crowd's a bit hyped up and they're getting ready. It was, you know, I thoroughly enjoy the cruiserweights, and they've had a lot more entertaining matches than you've had on the main roster.
Yeah, and I think Mustafa Ali's proven that, you know, if you use cruiserweights correctly, the entertaining part of WWE television, and 205 Live is not a boring show. It's just they don't get enough, you know, limelight. And even in the Rumble, we know it's going to be the kind of kickoff show. But I am looking forward to the match itself. I mean, this triple threat match has been great, and I think with Buddy Murphy involved, I mean, it should be really, really entertaining. But if the crowd's not into it, it will hurt it. Itami then. Well,
Tozawa looking to go flying, gets turned inside out by Hideo Itami, goes for the cover, but Kalisto in just in time to break it up.
And all three men down in the middle of the ring. I think if you look towards the Royal Rumble, I think the most likely guy, apart from Buddy Murphy, to win this match would be Hideo Itami. I mean, I think the other two really, don't get me wrong, Tozawa's got a bit of momentum beating Gulak recently, and Kalisto's a great talent. But I think, you know, Itami might, but would they go from heel champion to heel champion on Cruiserweight on 205? They seem to like that, though, don't they? The kind of heel guy bringing on the challengers.
They've had heel guys, a lot of heel guys.
Yeah. The face has not really held the title on that long. I mean, Alexander was kind of different from that, but beforehand, you know, like I said, Neville, Enzo, Now Kalisto looking for a superplex, but Itami holding on.
They're going to go for a double superplex on Itami.
Oh my God! And it's going to be double suplex. No, Murphy's in. And what is Murphy doing? Oh my God! Murphy powerbombs Tozawa and Kalisto and takes Itami out. Well, there's no disqualification, so he can do what he wants. But is that the Cruiserweight Champion sending a message?
Well, it was a good match until that fucking twat got involved.
I mean, what's wrong? He's just beating down Itami now. He's clever. He's a champion.
No, because you've moaned a lot of time that you fucking hate outside interference. What happens here? Outside interference. But it's all right because it's Buddy fucking Murphy.
Who's it favouring in this time?
Who's what favouring?
The outside interference. Who's it favouring?
No one.
No, exactly. So that's why I don't mind it, because
so what's
it's equal.
the point of doing it then?
Exactly. So there's no problem with it, because
So
Murphy...
what's the point of doing it then?
Can he sending a message and saying, I can beat these guys at any point, and this is what I'm going to do at the Royal Rumble. I'm the greatest cruiserweight.
Well, if he's that
of all
fucking
time.
good, why does he need to get involved in this match?
Well, I don't know why.
Obviously, he's insecure about himself.
Well, maybe so.
Obviously, he is.
He gets caught with a kick
See,
by...
look, now he's getting his comeuppance.
Kalisto
gets him. Tozawa hits him. Beat him. Boom.
Oh!
Double super kick. That's what you get for getting involved in matches you ain't fucking in. Salida Del Sol.
No!
Pow!
Oh!
Eat that, you bitch.
No!
Go on, Tozawa.
The Cruiserweight Champion. Oh, come on now. This is not fair. He's not even in the match. I don't know why they're attacking him for.
He
This is not right.
shouldn't have got involved in the match then.
Oh!
And Kalisto with his sneeze off the top rope to the outside, taking out Tozawa.
Well, now Kalisto is on the apron. Itami, oh my word.
Hits him with a big boot as he's trying to make his way into the ring. Throws Tozawa into the ring. Is he going to use him to get the victory?
It looks like way he's going to pick him up. Suplex. Falcon Arrow.
1, 2. Oh. Managing to kick out. Palm strikes, looking for that spinning back fist, but Tozawa ducks. Goes for a kick combo.
Oh. And a huge kick to the face by Tozawa. Kalisto springboards his way back in.
1, 2.
Oh. Goes for the cover, but Tozawa managing to kick out.
Step up into Guri from Kalisto to Tozawa, who's perched on the top turnbuckle.
Now Kalisto looking for suplex, but Itami stopping it. And Kalisto takes out Itami and throws him outside. And his side hitting the apron. And Kalisto with a kick to Tozawa.
Super Rana, but Tozawa holds on. Kalisto hits the mat. Oh, senton perhaps?
Oh
no, Kalisto moves out the way.
Oh my God, and there's Hideo Itami with that huge drop kick taken out. And now he's knocked out Tozawa.
With the knee strike and Hideo Itami.
Wow, picks the win. You saw it coming. His statement said, does that show that he's going to be next Cruiserweight champion? Dan, what are your thoughts on that match as well?
Well, he certainly sent a statement. I mean, well, could Buddy Murphy be sitting on the sidelines as he watches his title get taken away from him?
That's the thing. This is what I worry about now, seeing it. I tell you what, Itami looked impressive. It wasn't a bad match for the three men. I think it shows there's a lot of potential to come at the Royal Rumble. But there's Buddy Murphy looking on at Hideo Itami and Davari in the ring, and he is still the Cruiserweight champ. And I feel at Royal Rumble he's got his biggest challenge yet. But hopefully he will be successful. We'd just like to thank everybody for listening and tweeting and all the new. We just had shout outs, but just over the weekend and even before we started our live show, we were on Twitter having a look around, and I think most people want to see Demon Finn Balor tonight. I think that would be a fair assumption to say. And they want to kind of see a few surprises in the Royal Rumble as well. And we'll be discussing that. We'll be running through the card in a little bit. And of course, our show, which will come out on Wednesday, we'll have the full Royal Rumble event. And we've got kind of mini games and predictions and everything like that as well, trying to guess who's going to be in it. It's going to be fun. So new people that have kind of joined the show: Carl Howard, Carl Bailey, James Coombs, Jordan. We've also got Serge Allen, obviously our favourite Mark Tardis, the number one guy in the world. Shane Ricardson, Jacob Grundy, Gormo, Aaron Marr, on Twitter. And of course, we'll follow you back if we like your stuff. Kevin Andrew Gilham, Chuck's Edwin, Zoe Zufel, Mike Smith, and Charlotte Hope as well. So this is just from the live show. We do it every Big Four event, don't we, Dan? You know,
we do indeed. Yes, it's become a staple of the WNR podcast. Something that we started 100 episodes ago.
200 episodes ago.
No, the live shows.
Oh, the live show, you're right about it. Sorry for correcting. There you go. And this is what happens behind the scenes of the WNR podcast, is when either of us says something we think is wrong, we immediately correct them. You are right. WNR100 was our first live show. If you want to know anything about the WNR history, go listen to the WNR200 we did on Friday night, and it's a full comprehensive listen as well. But we're going to get a little bit of fun now before we talk about seriousness of the Royal Rumble. We're going to have a couple of games, and I'm going to play you on a couple of games. Dan, now we've got a couple of old favourites. Elephant F1, of course, Basler or Dunn that we do. But tonight we're going to play Dead or Alive. And basically it's Dan gets 3 chances, and I'm going to give you 2 wrestlers. You're going to have to tell me which one's dead, which one's alive. And it's Royal Rumble based. And it's from the Royal Rumble, first up Rumble 89. And it's 2 competitors in the Rumble match. So Ron Bass or Red Rooster?
I'm going to go with Ron Bass being dead and Red Rooster being alive.
Now, do you have any idea who Red Rooster is?
I have no idea now.
Okay, well, that's fine. Ron Bass is dead. Red Rooster is Terry Taylor, who would go on to have success as a kind of backstage agent for WCW and WWE. He is still alive. So you get that right. So that's 1-0 to you. 1999 Rumble, so 10 years later. We watched it recently. Go back and listen to it. It's the I Quit match. It's phenomenal as well. It's Golga or Kurgan.
Well, I know Golga is John Tenter, and John Tenter is no longer with us. So Golga's dead, Kurgan's still alive.
Yeah, all right. 2 for 2 there. 2009 then. So 10 years after that. JTG or Mike Knox?
Well, I'm sure I would have known JTG was dead, so I'm going to go with Mike Knox being dead.
Well, Dan, it is a trick. So it is Mike Knox and JT are both alive. There was no one dead from the 2009 Royal Rumble matchup. And we look at the history of WWE. That's not that good. But Dan, you got a game for me, haven't you?
Oh, I have a game, yes. And well, by my count, there's been about 34 wrestlers that have had multiple personas in the Rumble. How many can you name?
30 wrestlers have had different personas.
Over 30 wrestlers have had multiple personas in the Rumble.
Right, okay. So, over 30. And so what are the numbers then at the moment?
The numbers, well, I've had one that's had 5 personas. 4 personas, there's 2 of them. And there's 6 that have had 3 personas, and then the rest are all 2.
Oh, here we go. All right, so I've got to try and guess which ones they are. So what's the first one? One has had 5.
One has had 5 different personas
One has 5.
in Royal Rumbles.
Okay, so is that Rikishi?
No.
Right, what's Rikishi's number?
3.
So Rikishi has had 3, so there's 6 with 3, yeah?
Yeah.
What about Al Snow?
Al Snow, I've got him as 2.
2 for us, that's fine, no problem with that. Kane?
Kane, he's had 3.
Only 3 Kane has had?
Well, I've got him as Isaac Yankem,
Yeah.
Kane, and Fake Diesel.
No, that's fair enough. Mankind?
Mankind, he has had 4. And they are... Can you name them?
Yeah, Mick Foley, Dude Love, Mankind, and of course Cactus Jack. Alright, so Godfather?
Godfather, that is 5.
Yeah!
Can you name them?
Khan Mustafa.
Yeah.
Papa Shango.
Yeah.
Goodfather.
Yeah.
Godfather.
Yep.
And Karma the Fight Machine or something like that.
Karma, yeah.
So 5 out of that's not bad, is it at all? I'm glad I got that. Alright, so I've still got to get. So Austin's had 2.
Austin's had 2, yep, the Ringmaster and Stone Cold.
X-Pac.
X-Pac, 1, 2, 3 kid.
Billy Gunn.
Billy Gunn, I haven't got him on the list.
Well, he's been a 1 Billy Gunn. I don't know if you're going to count.
That's a
that.
bit low.
Yeah, I know. Double J Jeff Jarrett.
I haven't got him, no.
Umaga.
Umaga. Yes.
Yeah,
He's had 2.
He's had 2. Triple H.
Triple H. I got him as Hunter Hearst Helmsley because he was still technically Triple H.
Mark Mero.
Mark Mero. No.
Viscera.
Yes, he has had 3. Midian, he's had 2.
JBL.
JBL, he has had 3.
Ooh. JBL. Matt Hardy.
No.
Who else we got? Luke Gallows.
He didn't enter the Rumble as Festus, did he?
Did he enter the Rumble as
Festus? I think he entered the Battle Royal
Dolph
as
Ziggler.
Festus. Dolph Ziggler. The Spirit Squad, no, they weren't.
Oh, what? Curtis Axel.
Axel, yep, he's had 2.
Ryback,
yep.
Razor Ramon.
Razor Ramon.
Has he been a Scott Hall and Razor?
I don't think he has been in the Scott Hall.
No. Kevin Nash.
Kevin Nash, yep, as Diesel.
Diesel and Kevin Nash. And that's John Morrison.
John Morrison, yeah, Johnny Nitro.
And that's basically me done.
Well, you did miss out on a 4, and that was Tensai, A-Train, Albert, and Prince Albert.
Oh, fucking hell. Yeah.
Rikishi, you done him, didn't you?
Yeah, did Rikishi.
Fatu and the Sultan. Earthquake,
Gold Gut. Are we talking about
and
him?
he entered as a Canadian Earthquake.
Oh, wow, that's a good one.
And Thurman Plug.
Spark Plug, Bob Holly.
Hardcore Holly.
Oh,
yeah.
my God.
Yeah,
Wow.
Terry Funk, Just Incredible and Aldo Montoya, Quang and Savio Vega, Midian, Phineas Godwin, you got that, Rocky Maivia and The Rock, Akeem, One Man Gang, Simba and Tony Atlas, K Quick and R-Truth, B Squared and Bull Buchanan, Wade Barrett and Bad News Barrett, you got the Umaga and Rosie one, Gregory Helms and Hurricane, Stardust, Cody Rhodes, Mike McGillicuddy and Curtis Axel.
Oh, yeah.
Hunico and Sin Cara.
Yeah, I mean, there's loads when you think about it. I failed this game, Dan. I do.
You done quite well, though.
I didn't do too badly, did I? You know, I did list, 15, 20 of them? I'm not sure. So the WWE Kickoff is happening at this very moment in time. And what happened at the start of the Kickoff, Dan? Is there anything interesting that's been going on?
Well, we've had Daniel Bryan moaning about the Royal Rumble offering at the stadium. It's a meat-filled delight, which looks absolutely lovely. But Daniel Bryan, obviously being a vegan and a lover of the earth, he put it on the floor and just stomped it into the ground.
Yeah, and we've seen, of course, it's a standard Kickoff setup as it was. Charlie Caruso doing it with Joe the King Lawler, Booker T. We've seen JBL, who looks like a giant at times. I don't know if it's a stage. I really love the stadium setting and everything we've seen. It feels really big. It feels kind of special. And we know about the kickoff matches, but we've had that kind of extra kickoff match as we're talking right now. And it is the WWE Raw Tag Team Champions. And Dan was saying to me earlier, well, the Raw Tag Team Champions are on the line. Well, the glorious one, Bobby Roode, is here with Chad Gable. And Drake Maverick earlier was outside the WWE men's locker room looking for a partner for, of course, Razor, because Akam was injured. And that's been answered by Scott Dawson. Dan, if you were going to say who was going to win this, who would you say?
I would say... Oh, preferably I like the Revival of Pain to win it. But I reckon that Rude Gable are going to
I've got to say, it seems like a successful title event for Rude Gable. So a point to be online for that. Of course, we do prediction leagues, but we'll explain more about that when the Royal Rumble podcast comes out on Wednesday. Of course, we have all the live events. But Dan, we've had games. Is it time to masturbate?
Oh, I like a good old masturbate, especially in the middle of a podcast.
Yeah, I think it's always good. So basically, we've got two names, and me and Dan have to pick a side and fight for why this person should kind of survive in WWE in a kind of apocalypse, and the other person shouldn't. And I think it needs to be very, very interesting here today. We're going to start off first with Rousey or Banks. Dan, which one do you want to go for?
I'm going to play devil's advocate, and I'm going to go for Ronda Rousey.
So you think Ronda Rousey? Oh my God! All right, I'll go Sasha Banks. I'll start my argument with Sasha Banks. Is just first off, I've loved Sasha Banks since the first podcast. We found out the 200th show that if you go back, Sasha Banks, I said that she fights like a man. She's got the look, she's got the talent, she's got everything to make it to be a star. Yeah, and she would be. If her surname was Flair, she would be in the exact same position Charlotte is in now, but she's not. And that's what's affected her. She's a fantastic worker. It was her matches with Bayley in NXT that broke the mold for women's wrestling and made WWE have to have a revolution and end the Divas division. It was because of these two women. And you look at Banks, she's involved tonight, and I go on Twitter, I go around it, everybody's so excited about Sasha Banks being a part of this show and going against Rousey, and they love her, and there's so much more potential as a face, as a heel, as part of the four horsewomen with Charlotte, Lynch and Bayley, or separate from that. There's such more to play. She's such a great worker. She has many facets that she can do, and that's why Sasha Banks, head over heels. If I was going to pick Ronda Rousey or Banks, I would pick Banks. And I'm just saying Banks positives at the moment. I'll let you argue before I go against Rousey's negatives.
Well, Ronda Rousey, she is a huge draw for WWE. She brings in a lot of extra eyes. She is what Shayna Baszler could have been. She is, an ex-UFC fighter. She has got a lot of star power. She's been in films. She is a celebrity icon. And that is what you need. You don't need people like David Arquette coming in and Kevin Federline coming in wrestling. If you want to bring big draws in, it is Rousey. All the eyes that Brock Lesnar's brought in early on in his career, it's the similar people to them, bringing them back in again. And she has improved vastly. You even said it as well, you're most improved for the year. And, the only way is up for Ronda Rousey.
But is she that much of a game changer? Hasn't Raw this past few months been suffering the worst ratings in its history with Ronda Rousey because Roman Reigns has been away? So if Rousey is such a big draw, such brings eyes to it, why is it not helping out the ratings? Why is WWE not more successful now than it's ever been? And that's the fact of Rousey. If you give someone else like Sasha Banks a chance, maybe she can become the next character, a bit like Stone Cold Steve Austin, whoever it is, to lead it through, not just relying on Rousey, who, quite frankly, is a failed MMA star. In real life, she got knocked out twice, and she's coming in here with a year experience. Yeah, she's good, but she's going against talent that in a wrestling sense, and now she wants to walk away from it. She wants to become a woman's Brock Lesnar and say, no, I want a part-time schedule, I want to start a family. Oh, yeah, I've got a contract here for another year, but I want to do what I want to do because it's a bit too tough. Again, I don't think it's fair. That's why I think Sasha Banks is a more long-term. In 5 years, 10 years time, who's going to be there in WWE still? It'll be Sasha Banks. And when we look back in the Hall of Fame, and we look back at greatest women of all time and innovators of it, will it be Rousey or will it be Banks? I think it'll be Sasha Banks.
Yeah, I'll give you that point.
Yeah, thank you very much. On Kickoff, we should say Rude and Gable have defended their Raw Tag Team Champions. So your Tag Team Champions, Dan, the glorious Bobby Roode, Chad Gable. Of course, we've got still to come. We've got the Rusev United States Championship against Nakamura, and your Cruiserweight Champion Buddy Murphy defending against Itami, Tozawa, and of course, who can forget the last man in that match, Kalisto. So, debate though, we're back to that. And the next one, Dan?
The next one is Becky Lynch or Asuka. You can have the first pick here.
All right, I'll pick Asuka. So you can start with Lynch.
Well, Becky Lynch, she is the first ever SmackDown Women's Champion. When Asuka was down in NXT, Becky Lynch had already made her statement on the main roster. She went from being, the first SmackDown Women's Champion to kind of dwindling out. She's kept herself on the quiet side. But since her resurgence, she has become the man. And, the amount of iconic photos I've seen of Becky Lynch after she had her nose broken and she still carried on regardless without a care in the world, and she has come out kicking ass and she has legitimately remodeled herself as a Stone Cold, and I'm not saying she's trying to copy Stone Cold, but she has completely revitalized, brought in a lot more fans for herself if there wasn't fans anymore. She's amazing in the ring, and there's not much that she can't do. And you say, where they're going to be in 10 years' time. Becky Lynch is still going to be holding the fort on WWE.
Is she, though? Is she? She's proved in her most important moment, Dan, and most important moment, her match that she was going to she suffered an injury and couldn't compete. Is that the type of talent WWE are going to go forward with? We saw it happen with people like Finn Balor. We see it happen in people like Dolph Ziggler when they get injured, and you can't just say, we've got to rely on this person for the company. Who's been the most consistent women's performer in this past 3 or 4 years, if you look at it? Yes, we've had Charlotte, winning championships, wherever it is. Lynch has done a bit. Who's been the most consistent? Who has consistently wrestled with probably not an injury and has just wrestled for the entire since she's arrived in NXT? That would be Asuka. 543 days as women's champion throughout, consistently not giving her championship. She had to relinquish the championship in NXT because she had done it all and moved to WWE and come here now. And she's not been an injury, even with her booking. Have you seen her complain? Have you heard any rumours of Asuka backstage saying she wasn't happy? No. And much like Macho Man Randy Savage said, the cream still rose to the top with Asuka. Promo-wise, Lynch is, and character-wise, Lynch is the hottest thing going at the moment. But is it a full-time thing? No, she's a flavour of the month. And in 2 or 3 months, once the Fandango chant stops, much like Lynch, the character will fade away. She's doing what Ric Flair did those years ago. She hasn't got the consistency to carry it on. Once Charlotte, because Charlotte is going to sacrifice Becky Lynch's character. It's going to be Charlotte comes out on top with Lynch. Asuka, with the SmackDown Women's Championship, can create her own way. We've seen what Charlotte done with Asuka. Asuka survived that and can move on and create a legacy for herself. So Asuka's going to be the one they can build a division around, not Lynch.
Well, you say Asuka's the one they're going to build a division around, but they literally gave Asuka an undefeated streak just to put Charlotte over even more. They had a win a Royal Rumble to give Charlotte even more brand recognition when she didn't need it.
And now they've created a character in Becky Lynch who's a Ric Flair ripoff that Charlotte can beat and get one over on her as well. It's exactly the same.
She's not a Ric Flair ripoff.
Who's the better worker in the ring, Lynch or Asuka?
I'd say it's an even kill. I'd say they both have their great points and they both have their questionable points. With Asuka, she's kind of flip-flop. Even in NXT, she had her little cheating moments, and not cheating moments, but slightly underhanded moments. And you're like, well, she's supposed to be a face. What's she doing? Faces don't cheat to win unless you're Eddie Guerrero.
Well, the thing is, get to bits, but I will give you this point, so it's a draw. But there ain't no way in fucking hell I'm losing this next one that we're doing because it's McIntyre or Rollins.
I'm going with McIntyre.
No, you're not going McIntyre. It's my
come on, devil's advocate.
No, I'm not going to do devil's advocate. No, I'm going. If devil's advocate, all right, I'll go Rollins then. If you go McIntyre, all right. But if you don't get this right, Dan, I swear to God, I will have you. All right, I'll start. Do you want me to start with Seth Rollins?
You start with Seth Rollins.
Okay, the man Triple H saw as the kind of guy to take WWE and control it for the next 10 to 15 years. That's exactly what Seth Rollins has been doing throughout his title reign in 2015, where he was a heel and he split from the Shield, became the main star. People said he couldn't do it, and he carried the company for that many months. And now with Roman Reigns and the horrible things that's happened there, and Ronda Rousey, it seems that Seth Rollins is again ready to carry the mantra for that. He's the favourite going match, and he's going to be the number one guy, and it's not going to go away. Seth Rollins is going to hold as many championships as Randy Orton and Edge and Triple H by the end of his career, because he'll be a guy WWE can rely on and be there all the time. And Rollins, whether it be face or heel, can play the character perfectly, and that's why he's going to be there. He's going to be the next, not the next Shawn Michaels. This is what you say, Dan. He's not going to be the next Shawn Michaels, Triple H. He's going to be the first Seth Rollins. He's got the talent. He's special. Last year, after all his problems, and he's delivered it, and that's why Rollins is the best, basically.
Well, Drew McIntyre, he was brought into FCW. That was before NXT was even running around, and he spent 2 years there. He was brought up, and he was billed as the next big thing, not by Triple H, not by the COO, but by the actual company owner, Vince McMahon.
Yeah, he's the chosen one.
Walked down to the ring, shook the hand of Vince McMahon as he brought him in and introduced him to the world. And, how many people has Vince McMahon kind of put his stamp of approval on?
Not that many at all.
Not that many at all. He was special. He came in, he held the Intercontinental Championship for a while, but he wasn't happy there. And as opposed to getting, jobbed over and putting it out, he went out, he remodelled himself. He took a tour on the independent circuits, You know, we even saw him, and he actually looked completely different to the Drew McIntyre we saw. He completely changed everything about himself. Came back into NXT, and you know, I was unsure, but I know you was very happy about what he was going to be. He came down and he absolutely obliterated every person that was put in front of him.
Yeah, and then what happened?
Became NXT champion.
Yeah, and then what happened? In the biggest match that he had, he lost and injured himself. Again, can you rely on someone who gets injured like that and miss so many action? The first time round when he was known as Chosen, what did he do? Arrogance got to his head, and he was happy just being there as a 3MB gimmick. Yes, he went away and changed himself, but he completely changed himself. You look at the way he looked and where he looks now. You tell him he's not taking any performance-enhancing drugs or anything like this. There's a wellness policy going on at the moment, and as soon as he fails his first wellness, McIntyre is going to be in all sorts of trouble. Can you say this thing with McIntyre, with Rollins? No, Rollins is a perfect shape. Rollins is different to anybody else. Him as well. Everything he does, they burn it down. They're behind him 100%. Are they 100% behind McIntyre? In his matches, sometimes, you know, the fans are really, really quiet. You know, they're not into it.
They are 100% behind him as a heel.
But can he play a face as good as Seth Rollins can?
He doesn't need to at the moment. He plays such a good heel that he doesn't need to be a face. He's, you know, he came down and he came back. He joined with Dolph Ziggler. He won the tag team championships relatively easily. He lost championships due to the fault of Dolph Ziggler. So what did he do? He cut the dead weight, and he's made an even bigger name of himself. He's, you know, he assisted in putting Braun Strowman out, and you know, he was unrightfully overlooked in a fatal 4-way match. He should have won it. He should be facing Brock Lesnar, because if anyone could take down the beast incarnate, it is the Scottish psychopath, and it takes a psychopath to put down a beast.
Okay. Do you think he'll ever win a Royal Rumble?
I think yes.
Do you think he?
I think he's going to win.
No, but seriously, but if he doesn't win tonight, but do you think he'll win a Royal Rumble?
I think he's going to win a Royal Rumble. I think.
Do you think he's going to main event at WrestleMania?
Yes, not this WrestleMania, but in a year or so's time, when you know all the hype over everyone else, because you know hype doesn't last for long. Seth Rollins, he'll go back to being a heel. He'll go back to being booed. He's going to turn on whoever's his friend at the time, and he's going to stab him in the back. But you know, with Drew McIntyre, he's going to look you in the eyes and stab you in the back at the same time.
Will Drew McIntyre become WWE champion?
Yes.
You
undoubtedly.
But the thing is with Seth Rollins, will he main event at WrestleMania? Well, to be fair, he's already had a WrestleMania moment. WrestleMania 31 when he beat Lesnar and Reigns with the WWE Championship. Everybody remembers. And your favourite RKO of all time? Curb Stomp into the RKO, which he delivered on the undercard of that as well. Will he win a Royal Rumble? He's favourite here tonight to win that. Will he main event at WrestleMania? Will he be WWE champion? He's already been WWE champion. So Seth Rollins, you can guarantee that will happen. With McIntyre, it's still up in the air. If McIntyre was to come running out and to either do a Titus Wells slide or do a Vince McMahon at the Rumble 2005 and blow out both his muscles and be out for another 12 months, could you guarantee he's going to come back and be put back in that same position again? You know.
But can you guarantee Seth Rollins' knee? All it takes is a sunset flip to blow out his knee, and he is fucked for 9 months. Drew McIntyre, he's built like a fucking tank. There's nothing that could injure him. He's not going to hurt himself, sunset flip him, because he doesn't need to do things like that. Because he just run at you and boot you in the face with a Claymore kick, and you are fucked.
Yeah, well, I'm going to agree with you. McIntyre beats Rollins, unsurprisingly. But I tell you what, we talk about McIntyre, Dan, right? And again, this is not part of the argument anymore. But look how far someone can fall in WWE. You know, last year, Shinsuke fucking Nakamura coming at number 14 and won the Royal Rumble by last eliminated Roman. 12 months later, he is on the second kickoff show before the Cruiserweights. Don't get me wrong, I love the Cruiserweights. But before that, and he's in the United States Championship match as a challenger, and looking like he's not going to come up short, you know. Prediction-wise, you went first last time. Just quickly for you, and this one I've gone Rusev, you? Rusev. So we're going to be equal at the moment anyway, and we'll let everybody know what that means a bit later on. So that's mass debate, but there's been a lot of talk about the Royal Rumble, and of course one of my favourite things is the Royal Rumble match, and of course that is all about the numbers.
The Royal Rumble, the epitome of opportunity, outlast the competition to secure a championship match on the grandest stage of them all. WrestleMania.
The brilliance, the elegance of the greatest event in live entertainment, WrestleMania!
The road to WrestleMania begins here at the Royal Rumble. The rules are simple. 30 competitors enter, each tasked with tossing the others over the top rope. If your 2 feet hit the floor, you are eliminated. A fact that Kofi Kingston has done his best to circumvent over the years.
That's the craziest thing I've ever seen! He saved himself!
Since its inception, this spectacle has had a total of 1,010 competitors, with 97% of those entrants finding their 2 feet on the floor before the night was through. Of those 976 eliminations, 43 have come at the hands of Kane, a cumulative Rumble record. The distinction of most eliminations in a single Rumble event, however, belongs to the monster among men, Braun Strowman, as 13 men got those hands at last year's greatest Royal Rumble. Amazingly, only 26 individuals in WWE history have the honor of calling themselves a Royal Rumble victor. 6 have managed to pull off this monumental feat twice. And Stone Cold Steve Austin did it an astonishing 3 times.
Oh, hell yeah!
So what's the key to winning the Royal Rumble and writing your ticket to WrestleMania? Some would say it's all about endurance. How long can you last? Certainly, you'd hope to at least get in the ring.
Oh! Oh my God, what the heck? I can't believe what I just saw! Oh my God! Did that really happen?
Once you do, you'll need to go longer than Santino Marella, who lasted a single solitary second.
I wasn't ready! I wasn't ready! Oh, I'm going back there!
But are you ready to rumble for over an hour? In 2006, Rey Mysterio held on for an incredible 62 minutes and 12 seconds to win the Rumble.
He did it! Rey Mysterio did it!
The longest time in history for a winner. However, last year, Daniel Bryan shattered that time, lasting over 76 minutes, only to come in 3rd at the greatest Royal Rumble. And over on the women's side, Sasha Banks was the original Iron Woman, spending more than 54 minutes in the inaugural Women's Royal Rumble, only to end up in 4th. Others believe to win the Rumble, you need a little luck, as in how late a number did you draw? Carmella and R-Truth are certainly hoping so. As winners of the Mixed Match Challenge, they will be entering at number 30. And while it's true that 23 winners have emerged by entering in the last 10 spots of the Rumble, only 3 winners have done so from the very last entry. So is it endurance or luck? The truth is, you need them both. This year, the 32nd annual Royal Rumble event heads to the Valley of the Sun, where for the first time ever, the Royal Rumble will emanate from Chase Field in Phoenix, Arizona. And 40,000 members of the WWE Universe will witness history as 2 rising stars will overcome the odds and become immortalized.
We got the power. Touch the lightning. Come on now, we got the power. We got the power.
60 superstars, 2 Rumble matches, the opportunity of a lifetime. The road to WrestleMania begins at the Royal Rumble.
We got the power.
So that is the Royal Rumble 2019, and we look forward to the match. But I mean, we've been talking about predictions. Anybody listening to us for the first time ever, Dan? Can you please explain the prediction league to them?
Yes, we have 3 prediction leagues. It is WWE pay-per-views, bonus points, and NXT pay-per-views, including NXT UK.
And basically that's it. And prediction league, trying to get the most points from that at the end of the year. You have the kind of king of the podcast, or the winner of the year-end The prediction leagues. And we do predictions every single pay-per-view. So, of course, we're down, with paper sealed envelope, pick one out, and of course, we're 2 down. No, this is the second match now, isn't it?
This is the second match, yeah.
It's the second match, so it's 1-1 for us, but we have gone the same here. So either way, we are equal, and we're going to run through the card now. And of course, whilst it's on the United States Championship match, Nakamura versus Rusev. We talked about Nakamura's kind of downfall and where it's been. Is it irreparable damage to Nakamura's character? Will he ever be a main eventer now, or is he stuck in mid-card purgatory?
Well, we've seen rises happen. It is, at least you're in a title picture. And, do you think the US title has lost a bit of relevance?
I think it maybe has a little bit. I've never been a huge fan of the United States Championship, even though they kind of build it up as much. I always feel it would be better having the Intercontinental Championship as your mid-card and then the Cruiserweight, so you can really differentiate between the brands as well, which I think is just something they don't want to go for, because it helps, again, like I said, the amount of mid-card wrestlers, like Rusev and Nakamura, which it is now. United States, what's it mean to you? How important is it? When was it the most important for you?
I think when John Cena held it, when he was doing his Open Challenge. I think that's what it's all about with the United States Championship. And when you've got a face guy holding it, it is good because, sometimes you might get a little surprise about who comes out because, when John Cena was doing it, he had Sami Zayn coming out when he was in NXT, Kevin Owens when he was the NXT champion, and that sparked a little rivalry. So it kind of brings a surprising element. I know it doesn't work quite as well when you've got a heel holding it because they're like, well, if you want a shot at my title, you've got to earn it, so on and so forth, playing it the Healy way. But with someone like Rusev, I don't know. I think, it is good to keep mid-carders busy, but I think Shinsuke Nakamura's kind of let himself down. We saw him have brilliant matches when he was in NXT on top of the mountain, and now they've turned him heel. He seems worse matches than ever.
Well, the thing is, dropping John Cena on his head when he first, came into it, and like I said, the dream match with AJ Styles never truly delivered, and I think it's something to do with the character of Nakamura. It's so special in NXT because we didn't see it week in, week out, and I think maybe nowadays, because we do see it every show, there's not kind of same for it, so it doesn't feel as special. But I still think Nakamura, with the kind of character he is, has got main event potential if used right. As a heel, I don't think he can be, even though I do like the cocky heel, WWE will kind of go to the way they always go with him. Whereas I think with a face, we can see something a lot different. With Rusev, I would love to see coming up next, maybe, Samoa Joe, something a little bit different. Evenly matched guys, I think it'd be quite a nice, powerful hitting type match for them two. And, I think Rusev, there's still a lot of potential where maybe we thought 6 months, a year ago, what would happen to him. A guy who's been there. Is Rusev still main event material, do you reckon?
I wouldn't say he's ever been main event material. I'd say he's always been upper mid-card at most. He's not really touched upon the WWE Championship and Universal Championship. He's always been, in the middle of the card.
Well, then again, feuding with John Cena, didn't he, when he came out with the tank? I mean, was he real? He's undefeated back then, wasn't he, as well? And then kind of John Cena shit all over him. John Cena did the same to Bray Wyatt, actually, as well. But with Rusev, I would love to see it. He's proven as well that he's not some kind of Vladimir Kozlov type, and that he's kind of got the character to play a face as well as a heel. And I think he can do either well, and if this is his spot for him, I think he can deliver great matches against mid-card talent that they've got on SmackDown, and it's a good place. With maybe Nakamura, it'd be nice to see him switch to Raw, and maybe it could be still how good him and Seth Rollins were. Like, I wouldn't mind seeing that maybe somewhere down the road. Just mixing it up, and sometimes wrestlers get a little bit stale where they are, and Nakamura might become comfortable. And we want to kind of see something a little bit different from him,
But one thing I don't want is like, Nakamura, I'm unhappy, I'm going to go run away and live with Dad, i.e. AEW. It's, it is getting boring now, especially with all the reports on it. And, I don't want to keep hearing things like that. At the moment, it looks like Kane's younger brother.
Well, I think this is a problem, the way he's dressed. But I think it'd be interesting to see what they do in the mid-card division and what they do with the kind of talent. Because SmackDown's kind of so chocked full at this moment in time. It's going to be kind of really, really interesting. All right, so let's move on. We watch 205 Live every month, so now it's time to talk about the Cruiserweight Championship. Of course, my man, Buddy Murphy, defending it against Akira Tozawa, Kalisto, and, of course, Hideo Itami. Dan, what are your thoughts for it? I mean, what do you think as Buddy Murphy's Cruiserweight Champion? And don't just be negative because, he's my guy.
Well, you can't say he hasn't been dominant, but I think he still needs a little bit of work. And, yes, he's another man that he was kind of overlooked in NXT, and when we first started, he was NXT Tag Team Champion.
Yeah,
and he was kind of overlooked for or so. He's kind of reinvented himself in 205 Live. Is it the best move? Could he have? What would he have been doing if he had gone up to the main roster?
Well, if you look at his tag team partner at that time, Wesley Blake, he's finally getting his break again with Forgotten Sons in NXT, and that took kind of 3 or 4 years as a reset. I think with Murphy, he's been quite lucky to find himself in 205 Live, cutting down the weight, because he is an incredible athlete. What he can do in the ring is amazing, and sometimes his selling leaves somewhat to be desired, but he can definitely go in a match. And I feel with Buddy Murphy, there's a lot of upside still after 205 Live on Raw or SmackDown, especially if you use the Alexa Bliss kind of relationship that they've got to kind of, use that together. Then I think it's a character that can definitely work. And I think mid-card title, we're talking about United States Championship. Buddy Murphy, I think, would be a great United States champion or Intercontinental champion, and then maybe eventually to heavyweight as well.
Yeah, I think he's still a bit too small to be a heavyweight, though.
Well, the thing is that he's cutting on the 205 Live limit, isn't he? So things can change in that way. The important thing is to know that Buddy Murphy, I think, can look competitive against kind of bigger guys, and kind of what they bring to it. I think if he's going to get someone like Seth Rollins, if he's going to get AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan, Murphy would match up, if not be even bigger. It's not long gone of the land of the Giants at 250 pounds. These guys are 175 pounds, 200 pounds now, and I think Murphy would look bigger than Bryan, Styles, Rollins. Maybe the same size as Dean Ambrose. And what about the other 3 guys in it? What are your chances for those 3?
Well, we know what Kalisto is capable of. We've seen him beating Del Rio for the US Championship. We've seen probably one of the most painful-looking moves we've seen with Salida del Sol on the ladder in a ladder match. He has got loads of talent, but I think he's been kind of overlooked now that Rey Mysterio's back. I don't want to be mask racist, but, you can't really see too much difference in the masked characters, and with Rey Mysterio currently killing it on SmackDown Live, is there any other masked wrestlers that can lace Mysterio's boots?
That's the thing, and the parents CM with him now to kind of give that, live up to him as the kind of next great Mexican superstar. It's difficult for him, but with Hideo Itami, is he too similar to Akira Tozawa from the neutral fans who don't know anything about the characters?
I think they're 2 completely different wrestlers. One's a grizzled vet. He's been around for a while, and Akira Tozawa, I mean, he absolutely shone in the CWC. He was absolutely brilliant. He was one of our standout guys from it, had very, very good matches. And, someone that we didn't really discount as being a challenger to win the thing. But, he was definitely someone, I think, he's known as the amazing Tozawa.
Yeah, exactly. So it's the thing. And he has been Cruiserweight champion, so has
Kalisto,
and Kalisto's kind of the unknown quantity in this. He's fantastic. A guy I think again could be working level in 205 Live. No disrespect to that, but I think the problem is with Kalisto is again, like I said, with mask guys. Kind of painted into that. With Itami, there's potential, but I think he needs to show a little bit of personality. He's not changed his trunks since he got there. I'm not saying, he has to, but he's not shown anything different since he first began. Yes, he's a veteran now, but when is it good just because you've been there a long time? Does that make you the kind of best there is? I think Buddy Murphy is a star, out of those 4 guys. And I think when you look at it, he's going to be the one they're kind of trying to protect in that one. But it might be a night of surprises. And I said this to Dan earlier. Sometimes WWE just go fuck it, and you think you know the predictions of some things, and they'll completely change it. Remember SummerSlam a couple of years ago when they just changed every single title that was on the line. And in our second match, we both went Rusev. And what happened, Dan?
Nakamura got the victory. Nakamura was taking a turnbuckle pad off. Lana got up on the apron. Nakamura and Lana had a bit of a stare down. Rusev come from behind, accidentally knocked Lana. Looked to check on her. King Shasha to the back of the head. 1, 2, 3. And your new US champion, Shinsuke fucking Nakamura.
So we move running through the card. We talk about the SmackDown Tag Team Championships, because sort of Raw Tag Team titles defended earlier. SmackDown time, and it's the Bar defended against Shane McMahon and The Miz. Now, Dan, is this a joke match or is this serious?
Well, you know, I've not been quite sure on The Miz turning face, and then with Shane and the way he kind of entered the Best in the World tournament, there was a lot of rumblings that he's going to be a heel kind of McMahon, you know, much like his father. And there was going to be a bit of a tussle between Shane and The Miz, but they kind of gone away from that, and they've sort of paired Miz up, and they've got a baby together now, as well, and that is the Best in the World trophy. Well, teaming them up with, I don't know if it's a good idea. We know what Shane's capable of, and you know normally that is jumping off high things.
Yeah, but we've seen recently, and you know, let's not forget what happened last Tuesday with Shane McMahon getting involved finally for the better and taking out Cesaro and Sheamus, and looking to go after the announcer, like I say, go high. But again, Sheamus getting one up and the Bar beating down Shane. Will that turn Shane more serious now? You know, because it was a pretty big beating. Will The Miz show a little bit more heart and desire? I mean, the Bar put Shane McMahon through the announce table. Will it be 100% here tonight? Is it a joke for them? But I wouldn't discredit The Miz and Shane McMahon, you know, getting maybe the job done. Am I looking forward to it? Do I think it's going to be a great match? No. But it's interesting. At least they're trying something a little bit different. I don't like they're doing it over the World Cup. But... And again, I love Shane McMahon, but should they be using someone else in that position?
I think they should be, because, you know, and I've made no bones about it, I don't think Miz is the most talented wrestler, and Shane McMahon certainly isn't the most talented wrestler, so, you know, you'd at least want someone with a bit more talent in the match, you know, on that side, so then you can have the weaker one taking the beating, getting beaten down by Shane McMahon, and then having his partner get the hot tag in if they're going to go with that way for them to kind of win it. But with the Bar, you know, I think there are a lot more tag teams that actually deserve it. You know, you've had Sanity who've been sat on the sidelines for ages. Again, they're sat on the sidelines now because the son of the owner of the company wants a chance. I know he did make a point of saying, look, I'm not going to give myself a chance. We need to earn it. And they've had one-on-one matches against the Bar, but I just think it's, you know, the McMahon's pulling rank again.
Well, it's a bit weird that Shane around this time always seems to have it, you know, to be involved in it, and, you know, singles match with Miz or for the Tag Team Championships is going to be pretty odd here tonight. But like I said, anything. Sticking to SmackDown, the Women's Championship, Asuka v Becky Lynch. Now, we argued their corners earlier. I think this really has potential to be a great match between these two women, and I'm not sure how they're going to play it, but their styles, I hope they mesh. You know, we've seen these two women before, and hopefully tonight, you know, I hope Asuka, you know, we talk about Nakamura, he's walked away as United States champion now after winning the Rumble last year. If Asuka can walk out here beating Becky Lynch after winning the Rumble last year, then, you know, she's kind of made it in that way. Dan, how do you see Asuka v Becky Lynch going here tonight?
Hopefully they get the time that they need to tell a good story. I've got a feeling that the matches on the card are going to be slightly rushed because we've got 2 matches, the Rumble matches potentially taking up an hour apiece, so that's going to be half of the show's time gone there. And then you've got another, 7 matches?
Well, if last year the Rumble was if it's 4 hours you base it off, right? You've got the 2 Rumble matches are going to be an hour each. And then I wouldn't say Balor Lesnar's going to go longer than 10, 15 minutes. So with that, with promos involved, 20, 25 minutes. The same with Ronda Rousey Banks. So again, that's probably another hour. And then the other hour you got to fit in Bryan versus Styles, a tag team match.
But then you've got to throw in all the backstage stuff, all the interviews, all the, well, this is what's happened building up to the match, as if you didn't know.
I think it's going to be about four. It should be about 4.5. But you never know if it's going to be a squash match. LeBar could come out and just completely run over Shane and Miz, and you had problems afterwards. You could be a squash match in Lesnar versus Balor, and God knows what could happen in the women's division. I mean, just imagine if Rousey was to do that. We'll get on that because we talk about SmackDown Women's Championship. Oscar and Lynch. I expect this to be a great encounter, and I hope Oscar can, like I said, look as strong as she has in NXT here tonight. Which way are you swaying at the moment? Where do you think the crowd's going to be? Where do you think you're going to be on this one?
I think the crowd is going to be behind Becky Lynch. I'd like to see Becky Lynch walk out SmackDown Women's Champion, but then there's all the rumblings for the WrestleMania. Or are they just going to say, well, fuck it, we've got 2 pay-per-views in between that for things to potentially change? So are they going to have Becky Lynch go over, Ronda Rousey kind of retain her title, and then at the pay-per-views in between, are they going to have things happen there? But then, you're going to have the huge focus on the tag team elimination chamber, so you don't want to take too much focus at the elimination chamber. So there's a lot in the air. So, WWE, they might just say, fuck it.
Yeah.
They might have looked online and seen, well, the odds are for this. Let's give them a show. They want to have a new era. They don't want to be too expectant of what's happening. They don't want to be too predictable. So let's give them a few curveballs in there.
Well, imagine Lynch wins and then Rousey wins the Royal Rumble. That would be incredible. No one's kind of called that here. Moving over to Raw, the W Universal Championship, Finn Balor versus Brock Lesnar. Now, I know a lot of people want the Demon to win, but is that the right result after they built Brock Lesnar up to kind of be the destroyer of men as it is to lose to someone like Balor, Dan?
Well, you say it's someone like Balor, but it's the Demon, and what better way to build up the Demon as a legitimate character? And Brock's not getting any younger, and what better way to put a great talent, and whether you like to admit it or not, James, Finn Balor is a great talent in the ring, and he's a great asset to WWE. And have him coming out as the Demon. If he does come out the Demon, I would put all my chips on Finn Balor to win.
Really would do that. I think they still would put over the Demon. I think they would. I think they've shown. I think with Brock Lesnar, he's their guy at the moment until they say otherwise. And Finn Balor is just a man standing on the road to Lesnar at the Rumble. He might. The weird thing with Lesnar is that he seems to put performances against the smaller guys as opposed to the big guys, and I don't know why. You see it with Styles, you see it with Bryan. He gives more in that way, so I wouldn't be surprised if he gives Finn a lot. But I think, like you said, have Finn as non-demon pushing Lesnar to the limit would probably be what's best for both men here tonight, because the fans aren't going to be happy no matter what unless Balor walks out. I don't see that happening, but maybe other things can happen as well.
Well, but a second thing after that is that they give Finn Balor gives everything he could possibly give and comes out second best.
Yeah.
If Brock comes in and gives him 5 F5s, they're going to chant bullshit and they're not going to be happy. And not what you want. And, the bigwigs must be aware of how much people hate Brock Lesnar at the moment, how he's not showing up. Could they possibly play it into a character? As Brock Lesnar saying, well, I really don't care about the WWE Universe, I don't care what they think, get him universally booed, and then kind of push him as that.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is the thing, though, isn't it? That people get sacrificed for Brock Lesnar. Look at and he's going to be the next guy. Everybody's saying he's going to win it, and it never happened thanks to, in part, Brock Lesnar. And I think this could be an interesting match. It's going to annoy a lot of people here tonight, no matter what. So we go over to SmackDown and stay on Raw actually, and we'll do the WWE Raw Women's Championship because someone like Brock Lesnar, Ronda Rousey now is involved. Will the crowd turn against Ronda Rousey here tonight? That's the question I'm asking you.
I think it's going to be split. We all know that Sasha Banks has got a lot of fans, and she deservedly has them fans because she has put on performance after performance through NXT onto the main roster. She's had iffy moments with Bayley, but but she certainly deserves to be in the spot that she's in, just because of the pure hard work and determination that she's put in.
Yeah, I mean, without a doubt, this would be the interesting thing to see. But my thing is that at WrestleMania 20, when they found out Lesnar and Goldberg were leaving, that they weren't happy about that. And if they find Rousey's going to go after WrestleMania, the crowd might turn anyway. And then you put her against Sasha Banks, someone they don't want her to beat. And it might be a negative reaction. I don't know, because Rousey still is selling a lot of tickets, and she is the kind of number one face on Raw at the moment. So I think that would be really, really interesting.
Well, how would you book Ronda Rousey losing? Because, she's on a streak at the moment. And as they say, streaks are made to be broken. So how would you...
I told you they should have not beaten Oscar streak last year and had Oscar do it to Rousey. It would have been the biggest fucking shock in the entire world and made Oscar bigger. Oscar doesn't need a streak. We're excited about the Lynch match anyway. It's going to be Charlotte that gets the job done. If it was going to WrestleMania, Lynch was to get the pin over Rousey, it would make Lynch forever. She wouldn't need to do anything else. But you fucking know they're going to do Charlotte, and they'll make Charlotte be the one who beats Ronda Rousey. To do it, they'll probably just make her to either tap out or pin. It will be one of those moments you'll just be like, oh, she beat Ronda Rousey. Oh, okay, right. But I am looking forward to the match, even though I'm not sure what the hell we're going to see, Over to SmackDown, the WWE Championship on the line. AJ Styles versus Daniel Bryan. Has this feud gone on too long, like every AJ Styles feud this past year, Dan? Or are you looking forward to this match tonight?
Well, I'm hoping that they actually pull out a good match, because the ones that we've seen have been underwhelming. We know both of these guys can have amazing matches. We've seen it in WWE, but is it because they're both carriers of matches? So, it's... one of them wants to take charge, but they're not sure which one, because they're both really well respected in the locker room, and they can both have great matches. So is it them both trying too hard that it kind of backfires and not has a match? Is it too much pressure on them? I know can absolve the pressure, but it's there's just something missing from it.
Yeah, I know there is, isn't there? And I think it has been all year. And every match against Samoa Joe, matches against Nakamura for AJ Styles hasn't played out, whereas with Daniel Bryan, everything he's touched turned to gold recently. I don't know if AJ needs to take a break or needs a new scene, or to change the scenery, but I feel with Bryan feuding with someone else, I think we have Daniel Bryan. No, I love AJ Styles, but Daniel Bryan versus Mustafa Ali match at the Rumble tonight would have been something special and different. Talk about changing things up. Have a guy like that, have an opportunity. Obviously, he's got to earn it, I understand, but still, he could have beaten AJ Styles or been a Battle Royal or something like this. But I think it's going to be a fantastic match. But I want to see Daniel Bryan moving on to a feud with someone else. But who's next for Daniel Bryan? Who's next for AJ Styles? I'm still not 100% sure, really. What could be next for these two? Is it going to be a kind of marquee singles match at WrestleMania? Again, who's it going to be against? Who would you want Styles to go against Mania?
I'd like to see Styles versus Rollins.
That would be cool, actually. Yeah, I mean, Styles versus Rollins. Styles versus Balor, maybe. Bullet Club, we've seen that happening before.
Styles Ambrose. Ambrose can put out a good match. Or Styles versus Orton. I know, you think, oh yeah, he's saying Orton, but Orton can have good matches, and, AJ matches, the matches he's had with Cena, and you could argue that Orton's on a similar caliber to Cena. He can have great matches with wrestlers that can carry the match better.
And I think the problem at the moment with SmackDown, the only problem, on Raw, Seth Rollins is the kind of guy is going to be the face. Who's the number one good guy on SmackDown at the moment? Who's going to be the guy that's going to kind of lead it in the next generation? Yeah, I know you've got Daniel Bryan, but who is the guy down on SmackDown at the moment? Who is the number one? Who's next in line for Daniel Bryan? Who would want to face him at WrestleMania? It's really difficult. They've not done that at the moment. You kind of got your Rey Mysterios or your Jeff Hardys, but not really involved. Mustafa Ali, of course, but again, it's been Styles. Are we going to see Samoa Joe or someone like that? It's a bit weird, what will happen, but it should be a great match. All right, so it's 20 minutes to go now to the end of Kickoff, and we've got our Cruiserweight title match on the line. So prediction-wise, I'll go, because I've written down for me. And in this one, and I don't think it's going to be any surprise to anybody who knows me, has listened to me over the past few weeks / month, I have gone and new cruiserweight. No, I've of course gone Buddy Murphy. Who have you gone?
Well, James, there's only one man here that hasn't held the Cruiserweight Championship yet. And I don't think he's going to hold it tonight, Buddy Murphy.
Yeah, you got Murphy. You got my man, Buddy Murphy. Should be a great match. We'll bring it to you on the WNR Network review for February when we're looking at 205 Live, and we'll have this match on there as well, which should be a cracker. We're hoping to go, I mean, it's 20 minutes to go now for the event, so we've probably got about, I don't know, 5 or 10 minutes left in us. We've got 2 more matches to talk about, the Royal Rumble, the Women's Rumble or the Men's. Which one do you want us to talk about first?
We'll talk about the Men's. We leave the Women's Rumble till last. Well, the Men's Rumble, they've got, 20 confirmed entrants. Do you think that's kind of spoiled it, or you know, do you think they should do what they used to do, like have a little Rumble number drawing, and you see them backstage like picking their numbers?
I liked when they did that. I think the talent, you know, isn't there to make the match exciting. But the problem is when you don't announce who it is. Like last year, I got so excited. It was like, who's number 2? What surprise? Oh, it's Aiden English. I forgot he was going to be in that. You know what I mean? And you've got wrestlers who usually come out and you think, I was expecting someone else, but it's him, you know. And no offence to these guys like Titus O'Neil or Apollo Crews, who's Apollo Crews is definitely confirmed. I think so's Titus. But, you know, other guys like the Usos to come out. Oh, yeah, fuck it. They're not involved. Sanity. All 3 members. I know all 3 members aren't going to be in it, but will at least 1 member be in there? The Good Brothers as well. So all these ones we go, well, we've got 10 guys left. It could be all surprises. Well, it couldn't be. You know, it could be just like main roster guys. So I think that would be a really interesting thing, you know, come Royal Rumble.
But then you get like all these idiot dirt sheet writers that don't know their arse from their elbow, and they're saying, oh, well, Kenny Omega could be there, and, you know, there's going to be a lot of surprises, old legends returning for the match, and, you know, it's just like, what sources have you got? Nothing.
Yeah.
You've read a fucking tweet on the internet about someone retweeting hashtag Royal Rumble. You think, oh, they're going to be there.
Well, yeah, and the problem is you got to look at past Rumbles to see what happens. You look at last year's Royal Rumble and have its surprises. The surprises was a Goldust, which was meant to be played as a surprise. The Hurricane who came out, which was, you know, funny as it was. And Adam Cole and, of course, CN, who was the NXT champion at the time. So that means we'll have a couple of NXT guys and maybe a couple of legends to, you know, tonight. Bit like, well, maybe to Tanker because he's been training with Bray Wyatt. Do you know what I mean? And that kind of stuff. Goldust, who's, you know, kind of returning from injury. And I think this is the thing, you know.
Well, CM Punk has been spotted in Phoenix.
I know, I heard that.
So you never know.
I mean, if that happens, then, you know, I will go absolutely mental. But it'll be interesting to see.
Hulk Hogan's in the crowd.
Hulk Hogan is in the crowd. It's been confirmed.
He's going to be in the Rumble.
Okay, well, Hulk Hogan's going to be in the Rumble. We don't know who's going to be in the Rumble. No 20 guys out of it at the moment. Who is the favourite at the moment for the Royal Rumble for you, Dan?
If you're looking at odds, it is Seth Rollins. But, you know, again, if you listen to rumours, it could be fucking Becky Lynch.
Yes, exactly, because that's one of the things people want to do, have the man involved, win the man's Royal Rumble, and then you could play Charlotte and Lynch having actually a chance at rousing.
But there's one way to rumours is WWE don't have men putting hands on women now.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
So, you know, what they're going to do, oh no, I can't touch you, sorry, then Lynch throws them over.
Well,
it's like,
doesn't mean
that's
Lynch,
not going to happen.
Yeah, it doesn't mean Lynch can't put her hands.
I know, but it's, you know, it is something that WWE don't look upon.
Yeah, and I think the problem is with WWE, always if you say to yourself, oh, I'm not going to, you know, WWE are going to do the worst, expect the worst, and then it's always better, because I think with the Rumble, we think it's going to be a surprise every entrance, and sometimes it's not. It is going to be, you know, a Chad Gable or Shelton Benjamin. You know, no, Shelton Benjamin won't be in the Rumble, but yeah, I hope it's not. If you were going to say one NXT guy, if you're going to say which NXT guy would you either want to see or do you think you're going to see here tonight?
I would like to see Aleister Black. I think, you know, he's be good to get a feeling out process for him. You know, not necessarily go on to win it, but have a good showing like CN did last year. You know, he lasted, 13 30, 40 minutes.
Yeah, 35 minutes, I think it was. Yeah.
So, have him have a good showing, give NXT a bit of brand recognition, and yeah. Who else would I like to see? Velveteen Dream?
Velveteen Dream would be cool. But then again, we saw exclusive footage earlier on the Kickoff show of what happened after Takeover with Velveteen Dream and Colby being, fighting with Aleister Black. And we know now that, it will be a 6-man tag team match next Saturday on the WWE Network, Halftime Heat. Very reminiscent of 20 years ago when they did it, and I think this is the reason why we're going to see those 6 men squaring off. So will they be involved in that rather than the Royal Rumble, or is that trying to throw us off it, I would say who we're going to see here tonight. We won't see Tommaso Ciampa. See the Velveteen Dream. He will be here. He'll come out, get a huge pop from the crowd, but we won't get the surprises that we want, I don't feel. You know what I mean?
We won't get anything like, the Honky Tonk Man in 2001 or Bob Backlund coming down.
No, and I feel with the women's match as well, if we talk about that, again, with 23 women confirmed, so there's only 7 surprises there. So that's going to be really difficult.
You'll get 3 from NXT, 3 that haven't been announced, and possibly 1 or 2 returning legends.
Well, I see Beth Phoenix sitting at the Kickoff panel. Is she wearing her attire underneath ready?
And it is in Phoenix.
Yeah, exactly. So that makes perfect sense. But, will we see Trish and Lita here tonight? Alexa Bliss, how's she going to compete? Coming in first action in a while. I think she'll get a late number. Dan, what's her number for Alexa Bliss for you?
She's number 1 in my heart, James, as always. But I don't know, because she's only just been cleared to wrestle from injury, so you'd expect her to come out late. You'd expect her to have a good showing as well, because she is a fan favourite. Even though she's a heel, she is universally loved. Or will she come in early and get eliminated by a potential winner or a potential long stay in the Rumble?
This is the thing, and I think Charlotte is the favourite at the moment for the women's title match, but whether that happens or not is let's be seen. Alexa Bliss, could be Nia Jax, or indeed Becky Lynch if she's not successful against Asuka. I think it's going to be an interesting thing to see. And again, a surprise that. I mean, it'd be lovely to see a couple of Mae Young Classic women that I've not even thought about now. I've just thought about now, annoyingly. But I should say annoyingly because what we do and what we're going to do when we come to you on Wednesday, we'll bring in a full Royal Rumble event. Go on.
I just thought Tony Storm was in Phoenix last night.
Yeah, I know. Pete Dunne as well as UK champ. He could arrive tonight. So there's a lot of possibilities. And what we've done, we've done basically a prediction list, and we've got to fill out who we think the order of 30 will be. We get a point if it's the correct 30 altogether, the correct 30, and a point for each person in the right row. We've got other ones as well, Dan, a couple that you've come up with as well.
Yes, we've got Iron Man. We've got 3 who eliminates who. We've got 4 surprise entrants.
3 surprises.
3 surprise entrants. We've got the Santino Man, which is obviously whoever spends the shortest amount of time in the Royal Rumble. And
the lucky number draw that we've got.
The random Rumble number fan game, which is very easy for me to say.
We're going to come up with a lot of easier name for that, and we'll do all that. And I mean, there's about 60 points all the line, bonus points wise. So I think that's about it. The Cruiserweight title match is happening at the moment, and we'll give you the results of that obviously on Wednesday, and of course show that on the WNR review. Dan, final thoughts on our last live show. We've done 3 live shows, first time ever. What's been of this weekend? Absolutely
overwhelmed. All the listeners and all the support. If you're a first time listener or a long time listener, we urge you to come back, because we always have a laugh. We're always arguing against each other, and there's always the disappointment of James losing to me at predictions.
Well, we'll see what happens. It has been enjoyable doing the first 200 episodes with you, Dan, but, we'll see what happens for the next 200. Royal Rumble should be great tonight. We're always looking forward to it. We've been building towards it all weekend, and we're finally nearly here now. We're going to sit back, watch, enjoy the action, and give it to you all on Wednesday as well. But just a huge thank you for everybody who has followed us either from day one or on the WNR200 or Takeover last night here tonight. Thank you very much. Don't forget you can follow us on Twitter at WNR202 or
at Vince McDan WWE.
I'm at _Rowlands. Across all the Google platforms, WNR202 on Google+. Send us an email, the WNR podcast at gmail.com. We're on Facebook.
Yes, you can come and find our page and give us a like with a WWE Network Review podcast, or you can can come and find me and add me as a friend. I am Vince McDan.
Yeah, subscribe to our YouTube channel, W Network Review, where we've got awesome clips on there like Ricochet versus Will Ospreay and all our live shows that we've done as well. Clips, podcasts go up on YouTube, same time to do other places like SoundCloud.
On your phone.
We'd like to thank our music maker Diddley, who's on SoundCloud and Twitter now. You can follow him. He does all our music, the opening title and of course the main theme as well. And Speaker Radio, where we've done a live show, just like to thank them and for being live here, for doing I think nearly 8 hours of live stuff over these 3 days. It's been quite incredible. Thanks for everybody on there. Stitcher Radio, and of course iTunes, where you can download, subscribe, rate and review there. But that is it, and we're going to leave you with probably one of the most requested things we've ever had, the WNR200 reel. But before we go, just have time to say I have been James Rowlands, and as always, I was joined by
Dan White.
Thanks for listening, everybody. And just remember, enjoy the Rumble no matter what happens, and it will be fine. Thanks for listening, everybody, and bye.
Bye.
It's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. When I see you again.
Hello and welcome to the WWE Network Review, a brand new podcast. Thanks for downloading. It reviews the WWE Network and see if it offers value for money. My name is James Rowlands and I'm joined by my two friends, Dan White.
My name's James Rowlands and as always I'm joined by Dan White and Jared Brawler. It's episode 25. In this episode we're celebrating the 25 years of The Undertaker.
Hello, and welcome to the WNR podcast, or the WWE Network Review, a weekly podcast where we get the very best the WWE Network has to offer.
It's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. When I see you again.
My name's James Rowlands, and as always, I'm joined by Dan White, and it's episode 50 today.
Hello and welcome to the WNR podcast. I am James Rowlands, and as always, I am joined by
Dan White.
and it is a very special episode today because it is episode 75. Hello, I am James Rowlands, and as you can tell, we are live. And as always, I'm joined by Sam White. I didn't say your name that time. You see what happened there? Yeah. And it is the WNR 100.
Yes, hello, I am James Rowlands, and as always, I'm joined by
Dan White.
and today it is the WNR 125.
Well, yes, hello, I am James Rowlands, and as always, I'm joined by
Dan White.
and it's the WNR 150 today.
Yes, hello, I am James Rowlands, and as always, I'm joined by
Dan White.
and today it's 175 episodes we've done.
It's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you all about